Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to Journaling with Jessica. I'm Jessica. I'm our East Valley social worker here at Ironwood. I'll let my amazing colleague Nicole introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Nicole McAllister, and I'm the social worker for the West Valley here at Ironwood.
And this is our final installment of our Fun Friday series that we're doing, and we are rounding everything out talking about journaling. So I don't know if any of you are avid journalers or if some of you may be skeptics about it, but we're here to just give you some information about journaling, talk about some techniques, and also just show you some different types of journals, those types of things. So what is journaling? It's basically a written account of events and or emotions that you experience. There are some evidence-based benefits of counseling. For example, stress reduction. It helps to improve immune function. It keeps your memory sharp, can boost your mood, strengthens emotional functions. It can even help strengthen personal relationships. It can help you take control of your life when you feel like things are chaotic, and it can help you process emotions. One of the things that I think that's really cool is that journaling has been proven to assist with chemo brain, which a lot of patients often experience when undergoing chemotherapy. And a lot of times with chemo brain, it's short-term memory loss. I hear from a lot of patients that, they can be in the middle of talking about something and all of a sudden lose track of what they're talking about. Or they express feeling some type of guilt because a family member has shared information with them several times and they're unable to recall the information. One of the good things about journaling is that you can write down things daily that can help to remind you about maybe information that your family is sharing with you. It can help you remember appointments, other important information. So, I'll share with you as well, back in 2002 at the University of Kansas, they did a study of 60 women that all had early stage of breast cancer who'd completed their treatment. All of the women were divided into 3 separate writing groups to just kind of talk about the different benefits that journaling could have. So one group was asked to write their deepest thoughts and feelings about breast cancer, including any hopes of recovering or fears they may have related to dying. So that was one group. Another group was asked to focus only on the positive things that had happened during their breast cancer experience. And lastly, the third group was simply to report the facts only about their treatment. So after 3 months, the first 2 groups who were writing about their emotions reported 1/3 fewer symptoms and medical appointments than the group who was limited to writing exclusively only about their facts, which I thought was really cool. And results of the study depended on how the women were coping before they started writing. So for example, those women who tended to avoid thinking about having breast cancer were found to have improved more from focusing their writing on the positive thoughts and feelings that had come up during their experience. And they had significantly fewer doctor visits that were related to cancer. The women who were able to write about their full range of emotions, they reported significantly fewer negative physical symptoms and had significantly fewer doctor's visits for cancer-related issues. And so the study was able to show very encouraging results as it relates to the benefits of journaling. And I highlight that just to say it is an evidence-based thing. I know sometimes when people think of journaling, they think of like the Dear Diary, someone made me mad today type of thing. And it doesn't always have to be that. So, which is best? Journaling on paper or journaling with a device? Nicole, what's your thing? Do you prefer a journal? Do you prefer a device?
I think for the most part, I use a journal. I even brought the one I've been like working in lately, but I prefer the handwritten. I feel like the actual movement and everything is helpful. However, I have like been at work before and had a thought or an idea or something. I've kind of together a brief email and like shot it to my email and then like my personal email. And then when I get home, I'll kind of look at it and like go over it. But I'm a big journaler. I really believe it helps me just kind of let certain things go, kind of think it through, or get some really good ideas together. But I like the handwritten version.
Absolutely, Jill. And studies have shown that handwriting stimulates and trains the brain. So, what type of journal? I'm one of those people, I like to let my journal speak to me, if that makes sense. So I'll go into a bookstore and I'll go in the aisle where there's journals or diaries, whatever you want to call them. And I just look for one that just kind of calls out to me, whether there's a cool quote or something like that. So they do have some. It's like this one has a quote on it. It has one of my favorite quotes or little poems, and it's a soft bound. They all come with a bookmark. You can get them wide ruled, you can get them college ruled, depending on your preference. And then there's some that, this is my current journal, it's just plain Jane. And the cool thing about it is there's different covers. So like here's a cover like this. This will actually fit inside. And then nobody knows it's a journal. It just looks like I have like a cool little portfolio with me or something like that. But here's the thing, guys, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can get those black and white composition notebooks. The dollar store has them, Michael's, Target, Walmart, Amazon. You can get like a pack of probably a bajillion for like $5 or something like that. So whatever your flavor, if you're a pen and paper type of person, maybe that's not your jam. There's tons of journaling apps that exist and are out there and available now. One of the caveats to using a journaling app is a lot of them, in order for you to be able to access their full functionality and all of the features, you do have to do a paid version of it. And so sometimes it can be a little bit pricey. So depending on the journal app, you could either pay the money for the full functionality or pay like $4, $5, and just get a hand journal. But everybody's different. Find whatever's going to be most meaningful and honoring to and for you. If you are interested in maybe some journaling apps, there's Day One, there's Memento, there's 5-Minute Journal. Those are just a few. There are literally tons of journaling apps that are out there. You could Google journaling apps and you get a very comprehensive list that kind of lays out the benefits of each. Some of the journaling apps contain prompts if you sometimes find it's a struggle to just free write. But we'll get into some of those as well too, some different prompts that you can utilize and different ways to incorporate the journal into your daily life. So I don't know about you, Nicole, when you're talking with patients about journaling, but a lot of times you tend to hear that there's a few common reasons that people are hesitant about journaling. So for one, I often hear, I don't have time. I don't have time to journal. When am I going to do this? So on and so forth. Start with a very small increment. You can say, okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes a day and I'm going to write. Set a timer on your phone or something like that. Or you could, even if you know that every day you spend 30 minutes watching an episode of one of your favorite shows, maybe you can replace some of that time with journaling if that's something of interest. But it doesn't have to be an hours-long production. You don't have to write thousands and thousands of pages. It really gets to be whatever it is you want it to be, and you get to define that. Nicole, about how long do you journal when you do? Do you do it for an extended period of time?
It varies depending on what's kind of triggering the need. Sometimes I just take 5 minutes. I try to do 5 minutes. Even if it's something like I heard a really cool quote today and it made me feel this way, or when I was listening to a song, it made me think of my mom. So sometimes I just take a couple of minutes and write some thoughts down. I try at least 5, but then there are days where I really kind of feel like the thoughts are flowing and it's really working, and maybe I take like 10, 15, even 20 minutes, and maybe I don't even put a limit on it. I just kind of spend some time. Sometimes I incorporate pictures or like articles or different things to kind of like trigger that thought process that day. But the minimum, I try at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I love to mention that because, again, it doesn't have to be a narrative form. I think a lot of people think journaling has to be a narrative form. Your journal can be you doodling if you're artistic, drawing pictures in there or things like that. So it doesn't, again, have to be like some thought out dissertation or anything like that. One of the other common reasons that people maybe journal that are in one place, that's just going to cause them to feel sad, angry, etc. if they go back and read them and reflect upon them. Here's the thing. Negative emotions and thoughts are healthy. We're supposed to experience a healthy range of emotions, and that includes anger, sadness, etc. I think sometimes those less than pleasant emotions get a bad rap because of how we react and respond when we're feeling angry, when we're feeling sad. Not necessarily that, we're having these feelings. I always say a really cool movie that kind of really explains how all of our emotions work for us is the Disney Pixar film Inside Out. I think that definitely explains how all of our emotions serve its purpose and are there for a variety of reasons. So it's good to have that healthy range. And ideally, as a journal is supposed to be something that's reflective in nature. So if you find that as you're going back through it, you're finding there's a lot of things that are negative, that can be a point of reflection to talk about or write about, okay, what in this situation can I control and how can I shift it to make it work in my favor? What are some things that I can do to make this a more positive experience? So you're able to utilize it as a reflective type of thing. And then last but not least, there's always a concern that somebody may read the journal. But here's the thing. Nobody says that you have to keep the journal forever. Nobody says that whatever you write one day, you even have to keep the next day. I know some people, they journal and then they rip up the page. They burn it. I've heard of some people, they have rolled the paper up really small, put it inside a balloon, and then released it into the atmosphere. Whatever it is that you need. I thought the balloon release thing was really cool. But it's up to you. It's up to what's meaningful and honoring to you. Personally, I keep all of my journals. I have all of my journals, even from childhood, and I just keep them in a box because I think from time to time it's cool to go back and read about different experiences that I've had, or different life lessons, and it shows growth, right? So that's my personal preference. So getting into prompts, those types of things. There's different types of journaling styles. Again, free writing, where you just open your journal and you go to town. You're writing about anything, whatever's top of your mind. It doesn't have to have, a theme, whatever. It can just kind of be a smorgasbord of whatever it is that's on your mind. That's one way of doing it. I hear a lot of times people saying, I don't know what to write about. I open my journal and then I just kind of sit there. Okay, well, I think sometimes that's when we're going to the journal with some expectation that it needs to be this perfect piece of writing, when maybe you just need to open the journal and scribble on the page, and that's good enough for you and you can walk away from it. So again, try not to put a lot of pressure on yourself to have it be this perfect work of art. Because ideally your journal's for you. It's your innermost thoughts and feelings. So it's never anything that's going to be judged by anybody. So a few journal prompts, for example, you could do, what are 5 changes you'd like to make for yourself? Write those 5 things down. And then of course, do some reflection within that. Why are these the changes that you identified? Why are these important to you? And what would happen if you were to do them? And you can kind of go through that. And maybe you realize if there's 5 changes that you'd like to make for yourself, come up with a plan. So I feel like a lot of times if you ask people, oh, what's a change you want to make for yourself? Oh, lose weight or something like that. Okay. So then in your journal, you can write down a plan for that. So does that mean you then start eating healthy? Do you then work out? What does that plan look like? Oh, okay. Or sometimes if you're experiencing fatigue and you want to work up to becoming more active, okay, what's that plan look like? Does that mean that you start with small laps around your house and then gradually build up to, okay, I'm going to walk from my door down to the driveway and then come back? Starting small and coming up with a plan that's going to work for you. There's a dialogue technique that you can utilize where it's kind of like, say there's something that's bothering you. So say you're somebody that maybe struggles with anxiety. You can write about having a dialogue with the anxiety and talk about how the anxiety is impacting your life. And throughout that, maybe come up with a plan of how you can help combat that. Or if, say, as you're through your writing, you may identify, oh, there's something specifically that's triggering my anxiety. I realize every time I go in big crowds now because of COVID, I'm starting to become more anxious or those types of things. And then identify, okay, what are some things that I can do? And it helps as well, too, if, say, you're in therapy or considering going to therapy or something like that, your journal is something that you can take with you to say, here are some things that I've identified. Here's some triggers I've realized. Here's a plan that I've created, but I don't really know how to implement it. How can I help? How can you help me work together to overcome this? You can do intention setting. In blank, I will. So you can say, in 1 week, I will blah, blah, blah. In 1 month, in 6 months, in 1 year. And you can just talk about that again, being intentional, setting the goals, those types of things. Again, the journal doesn't always have to be the Dear Diary, this happened. It can be a goal setting thing. It can be like Nicole shared, oh, I saw this quote and it reminded me of somebody. Let me write about that so I can remember that, or something like that. Or, oh, it was a beautiful sunset tonight. How did that sunset make me feel? What did the colors feel like for me? What did the breeze remind me of, or something like that? And then there's one of the techniques is an unsent letter. If you find that you're maybe having conflict with someone or those types of things, you can even write an unsent letter to Cancer, talking about the ways in which your life has been impacted as a result of it, and the things maybe that you feel that you've lost some control of, but you're going to take back. The unsent letter, just as it says, you don't send it. That's not the intention of it. It's just a way for you to write out all of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and let it go. So again, you can rip it up. You can put it in a tub of water and watch the water just bleed the ink out of the paper. I've had some people, they set it on fire. If you're going to do that, of course, do that in a very controlled environment so nothing is being set on fire. I've had some people rip it up and bury it. Whatever it is to you that's going to be cathartic, to kind of release that so that you feel a sense of like, whew, okay, I feel better. And then I always recommend, if you're going to do the unsent letter, doing something self-care related afterwards, a hot bath, going for a walk, calling one of your good friends, something like that, that's just going to give you that sense of peace and be restorative to your soul. If you struggle with boundaries or saying no, you can journal about that, writing, do I have to? What will happen if I don't do it? What happens when I say no? If you find that you're a people pleaser or something like that, journaling can help you process some of that. Okay, I'm afraid to tell Nicole no. Well, why? Am I afraid Nicole's going to beat me up if I say no? Am I afraid she's going to be disappointed? Or will she just be like, okay, no problem, I'll take care of it myself? Those types of things, it can be helpful to just kind of jot it down. and process. Another way to utilize the journal, gratitude journaling. Today I am grateful for ABC. Tomorrow I am looking forward to cooler weather or whatever. That can be journaling. It can be one line. I think the biggest thing though is finding something that's going to be meaningful to you, finding something that's going to be honoring to yourself, and something that's just going to help you feel restored. If journaling's not your thing, that's okay. There's tons of other things, such as we have chair yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, a bunch of other offerings that are there and available to you guys. The biggest thing that we want you to know is that you're not alone. Both Nicole and I are here to help support you along your journey. And we believe in whole body wellness here at Ironwood. Just as important as it is to treat your physical body, it's equally as important to be treating your spirit, your soul, your mind, emotions, etc. So, anything you want to add, Nicole? Anything I'm missing?
Oh, I think you covered everything. There's no right or wrong way. Again, just to emphasize that. And if you go a week without journaling, don't punish yourself. It's something to try, and shooting for goals, those small goals, is easier to attain. But if you take a night off, I know sometimes I'm like, oh, I haven't done it in a few days. Oh well, it's okay.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point.
Yeah, there's just no right or wrong way. But it's important to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also say too, if there's ever a time where you're just like, oh, I don't want to journal today, then don't. That's not going to be a calming experience for you. You're just going to be focused on how you don't want to be doing it. And that's not the point. So you may journal every 6 months. That's fine. You may journal every day. That's also fine. You may never journal. It's different for everybody. And just it's important, as Nicole said, to just give yourself grace and be kind to yourself as you're kind of going through the journey. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. I would love for you to try some of the journaling techniques. If you do, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. If you're an avid journaler, let us know too. If you have a different technique, the ones listed are not an end all be all by any means. There's tons of different prompts and stuff that are out there. If you're looking for a place that will send you weekly prompts, there is an organization. It's called Lacuna Loft, and you can Google them. It's LACUNA and then Loft, LOFT. And you can sign up to have weekly journal prompts sent to you. And I think they do it every single Tuesday. So, if your goal is to journal at least once a week, boom, there you go. They'll send you a prompt. You can write it down. But we'd love to hear from you guys. If there's any other topics or fun activities you'd like for Nicole and I to share with you, please let us know as well. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this session. There will be a replay on the Ironwood YouTube and social media channels. For more information regarding our supportive care services classes and events, email us at wellness@ironwoodcrc.com. Thank you for spending time with us today.